Anthony, you talk in your book a lot about detachment. How does that play into what we're talking about now, coming from the soul?
Attachment or detachment?
Detachment.
Okay. See, your soul, it really is not attached to anything. The only attachment it has is God. Okay? Your soul is very, very emotional. And it is not emotions of its own. The emotions are divine emotions. You see? I mean, there is a difference between, when I say to Shannon that I love her as a human being, and I love her as the divine love within me, completely two different things.
Yes.
You see, completely two different things. When a reporter asked Mother Teresa, how could you touch a leper? How could you do it? And you know what her answer was? If it was entirely up to Sister Teresa, I wouldn't touch him for 1,000 pounds. 1,000 pounds is British currency. So the reporter who asked is a British journalist. I wouldn't touch him for 1,000 pounds. But it is the love of Jesus.
But, and also
Yeah.
Like if love, when we talk about love, the way I understand it, and correct me if but the way I understand real love, really love, is when we see each other as the same. We're spiritual beings, we are one. And like when I look at you, I see me. When I look at you, I see me.
Yeah.
And that's what love is.
Yeah.
That's the definition of love.
Yeah.
It's not a like on the emotional level and stuff, like you say,
Exactly.
I love this human being.
Yeah.
That's something different.
Yeah.
But the real love is when I see you as the same spiritual being that I am.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
See, that is what the concept of attachment and detachment begins to make sense, at least. See, when you are truly in love, whether it's human love or divine love, let's talk about human love so that we can be a lot more practical about it. See, one of the most incredible element of love is inner freedom. Meaning I have the freedom to express my love. Okay? Express my love. That freedom of expression is inner freedom. Whether it may be something totally irrational or very rational, it really doesn't matter. I gave you an example the other day. The soldiers walk into the line of fire to rescue one of their mates. Inner freedom. Mothers do that all the time. And I gave you many, many examples from the Bible. We talked about Mary Magdalene, Mother Mary. Peter, it was a vintage example. In the Old Testament, Daniel, Esther. It's incredible the kind of freedom they had to express their love to God. See, it does not happen unless you have the inner freedom to do that. Okay? And the inner freedom begins to manifest when there is no fear to love. Okay? The church wants us to be afraid of God. Jesus not even once said, be afraid of God. He always said, love God. Love God, love God, love God. He never said, be fearful of God. But here we have fear. See, fear becomes necessary when there is an administration, an order, an implementation, all of that, then there has to be some moral, bindings, something that forces compliance. And what is the best method you can come up with to force compliance? Make the other person afraid. See, when you are making the other person afraid, what happens? You are taking control of that person.
I think that was the whole idea.
Yeah, when you are
Back in the
taking
day.
control of that person, when you are even taking control of that person's morality, oh man, you really have done it. See, so, we can have attachment, but it has to be an attachment that respects the inner freedom of your beloved. So the attachment should come with respecting the freedom, the inner freedom to express the love of another person. You see, that's really what it is. You really have to do that. So when there is fear of uncertainties, when there is fear of what could go wrong and all of that, well, you begin to control yourself, you begin to control the other person. Then the attachment begins to form. Because the reason why is the attachment is because if you don't do it, you are making me insecure. That is the chemistry that's going on between the two people. So the attachment begins as a manifestation of your own insecurities. That's what it is. Okay? So detachment, on the other hand, is respect the other person's life, respect the other person's freedom, respect the other person to do things on his own, respect the other person's freedom to express love. That's the most important thing. So the inner freedom works in you, and you are harvesting inner freedom in others. So that is really the nucleus, that is the formation of that oneness. Even as a family, that's what it is.